Hey, and welcome back to my next video. Today I was just gonna show my progression since last video. It's now December 18, 1942. Last video was around the start of the year, whereas this one's now at the end of the year. Just coming into the winter, so you can see all the snow build up in Russia. Over here they brought up a couple of CVs. I managed to take out one with my heavy cruiser and submarine and maritime bomber. The reasoning for them bringing this up was a bit unknown, so I thought I'd just bring in a corps from the Eastern Front to hold this town just in case they were planning on some sort of amphibious attack into Denmark, and just reinforce these guys here a little bit, just in case anything lands in Norway. Over here I managed to take out their battleship and their destroyer. Now they've just got this submarine left over. Oh no, it was a light cruiser with my two battle cruisers, and my destroyer's just been hitting this submarine to stop them from attacking my supply line. Not much happening over here, just kind of holding the line. Down here we've just kind of surrounded this town here, and hopefully after winter we should be able to take this and then start pushing onto this town here. This guy just hitting some fighters that we spotted. We've just taken this town and set up a outer defense that can be getting ready for a new attack. I've pushed my army units up through here and taken these towns, so now this whole road's connected. Once I get a garrison up here, because there are some partisans, I've just bought some new garrisons. Once they come up here, I'll be able to move this guy to take this spot, and then move this guy up here, and then we're going to try and push and take this town. From there we might even then move over and start taking this town. While our tanks are just starting to build up, just need to repair this guy and then get them to level 3, because I've just got the level 3 advanced tanks, and so once they upgrade during winter, might as well, since you can't do a whole lot of damage during the snow. And then I'll be pushing into Moscow. Down here, once we took Smolensk, we then brought our army units down into Bryansk, along with taking Gomel and then pushing up, and so we've now created this new line. It's going to try to take out these 3 towns to prevent any kind of counter attacks as I push into Moscow from the southern flank. Down here, these 2 guys are going to join up and help defeat Oral, and just try to make that a little bit quicker so that we can try to move these guys over to Kaluga. We're then going to bring up our HQ into Bryant, and then again bring it up, or probably even just bring it down and then up into Tula, so that we can create a new attack with these guys from the southern side. Down here, we've just kind of reorganized everything so that, I think we were back down here last time, I reorganized it so that my 4 army units kind of just pushed up into this town, followed by this town, and now we're getting ready to push onto this town. You can see again with the 2 HQs, one HQ sits on the town while the other one keeps pushing up. As this one keeps going up, we should be able to keep these guys relatively supplied. Just due to winter, they are only on 5, but once it goes back into summer, they should be at least 8 supplies, hopefully. Down here, we've got in our level 2 infantry research with our Italians, so they're now able to kind of hold their own against this town, with the help of a couple of German infantry up the top. We've just taken this town, and we're starting to move our Hungarians over to this side here, and we're going to start moving our Romanians down here with this artillery unit and just try to take out their primary supply unit there, town there. Over in Turkey, we've pushed up, taken both these towns, taken this town and this town, and then pushed along into Baku, managed to take these oil fields, and now we're getting ready to move up into Grozny and take this next oil field. And down south a little bit, we've pushed an army unit into Persia. Once we get this rocket artillery up to here, we'll be able to shell it enough that this guy should be able to handle it by himself, and then we'll get Persian forces. Well, Persia will surrender. I don't think we'll get any forces, but we'll just get some extra MPs from these towns. Over here, from North Africa, like Egypt, managed to push over, take Jerusalem in this town here that they had a unit set up on, pushed over to Amman and got Transjordan, and then pushed over all the way over to Baghdad, and we've just taken Baghdad this turn. So Iraq will surrender, which should open up these oil fields. If not, if there's some guys here, we'll just have to keep going down, take them out before we can then kind of push back up into Persia and then rendezvous with these guys. Now we could even, if we wanted to, we could push this out and then come down and take this oil field, get Saudi Arabia on our side, but I'm not too sure if I want to do that or not. And it just depends. Actually, I might even do that because I think Saudi Arabia's... Oh no, they're neutral, so that's fine. If they were under British rule, I guess on the Allies side, I would do that. But because they're neutral, there shouldn't be any British forces in there, so I should be safe to just take this out and then move north. In Africa, I've managed to take Crete, and we've set up a couple of battleships to try and hit Cyprus. Along with this bomber, we're just trying to get rid of this heavy cruiser before we can deal with the actual island itself. I've moved up a core unit, and he's just going to come over and take that. The tank unit that took Crete has now moved over to here. I'm going to AV him and then push him down into here, so he's directly on Tunis, or maybe even just here, directly on Tunis. Once I go to war, I'm then going to send these 3 units up and push along, take Tunis, move along, take Algiers, with the help of these HQs set up in a double format, so one will sit on Gabs, while the other one keeps moving up, takes Constantine, and then keep moving across. So we're hoping we can do that before the Americans join the war in Africa, and then we should be able to get quite a large upgrade of MPs, because these are worth quite a bit, all these towns here, and it'll basically secure the Mediterranean, so we will no longer have to worry about them kind of coming in and messing up all our forces down here. In East Africa, I sent this core unit to Massawa, brought him up to this town, sent him all the way over, saw that there was a garrison here, and then sent him across, and now he's just going back to Port Sudan. The main thing I wanted to do was connect all this area with one another, just so that's under my control. And then I've brought down this HQ, army unit, artillery unit, and reconnaissance unit, and you can see that I've actually managed to push this special forces from here back, damaged this paratrooper that was over here. He's actually come across, took a hit on my artillery and my army, but now we're starting to beat him back. My artillery was here, I've switched him around. Now I can just keep shelling him, knock him out of the way, bring him down, take out this one, and then just slowly take out the rest of these units, and then we should be able to push back and take all of this area down here. Then over in Japan, we've just trying to secure Burma. I've brought up a HQ from the Dutch Indies, so that we now have got 2 HQs, and one from, you get one from here that spawns with a special force unit, and I basically just brought it over to here so that we've got the double, so that we can actually push into Mendeley, or however you pronounce it, and take this oil field, and then we're just going to push up into India, try to take this oil field, with the help of these bombers here. Down in the Dutch Indies, we're just building defences. We've set up a couple of corps to defend this island. We've set up a special force here, and then we're going to bring in a couple of army units to defend these oil fields, and then just a few corps to defend this side of the island. Down here I've brought up a tac bomber, special force, and an army, because they did have a guy here, but I've just taken him out. He's going to move across here, and we're just going to leave that there to defend from any attacks from Australia. The rest of this area, I don't really, as you can see, Japan kind of runs into an issue of, I've got no more corps I can buy. I can only buy 5 more garrisons, a couple of armies, mechanised. I can buy a few more things, but I don't think I'll be able to defend all of this area. I just want to kind of get a garrison in here, in this area, and then start trying to defend the islands closer to Japan. And so I do want to hold New Guinea, because that's obviously going to be their first offense, is trying to retake New Guinea. So I've landed some infantry here, brought some special forces down here, AV'd some, AV'd a paratrooper into here, and then prepared him and flew him over into Wewak, AV'd a special force into Leh, and, 2 into Leh, and then pushed down, took out one of their corps there, surrounded their port with a couple of battleships, and now we're just hammering them with our CVs until this guy is just too weakened to fight, and then we should be able to finish him off with this special force. If not, we can bring up the second one and then eventually take him out. Over here we've taken the Solomons and just set up a couple of defences with our special forces. When you take Bowen, you instantly get a medium bomber deployed here. That's how I got this guy. So I've just brought him over, and now he can start helping with the CVs to bomb Port Moresby. And then if we go up a bit, just defences set up. I've now brought up my battleships after reinforcing them, and now we're going to start harassing this port. Once the port's harassed, we'll then bring these CVs over, start bombing their special force unit, and then eventually bring over maybe this guy, or bring over some other unit to come and claim this spot. Over in Hawaii, we've managed to take Honolulu, having a little bit of trouble taking this one. It's taken quite a few turns. I've just set up a couple of battleships again to reduce its port to 0, and now we're just hitting it directly with the special force, and I was hitting it with my CV, and because this guy's only on 2 supply, so it's going to take a little bit longer than over here, because I did bring up that artillery unit which just helped remove its entrenchment. I wasn't able to remove the entrenchment of this guy, so you can see he's still on 2 entrenchment, even though his readiness morale is horrible, his supply is horrible. The entrenchment actually can prevent damage. So entrenchment prevents damage, and instead gives morale damage. So if you defend 1 or 2 damage, you'll then take 10 or 20% morale damage instead. So it builds up your, lowers your morale instead of taking damage. So that's why it's always good to remove entrenchment before attacking. Then over in China, We've taken this area, we've taken up here with these 2 units, we've taken all of Chungking and all the defences that were here, basically just because we came up behind them, managed to obliterate anything that was defending here. Now these 2 are just probably going to come up and try to take this town. I might even try to send these guys across to try to deal with this, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do there. I might even just have to bring him back around, and then with the help of this HQ come and push this, and just leave the special force unit there. Or I might even, I might bring this guy over to there, and then bring this guy back over to here, and then push up with the special force, because he does do more damage than the core unit. He can just kind of sit there and defend this spot in case anything comes down from Langchao. So Langchao is our capital. Once you defeat them in Chungking, it just moves over to here. So these guys, on the other hand, they're going to push over across, along with these guys pushing up, and these guys pushing across. We should be able to take Chengshao. This looks like it's the only real pocket left of the Chinese, except for like over here. Once we knock them out, it should just be an easy run into Cyan, Yan'an, and then over to Langchao. So we've pretty much, I don't see a comeback from China. We've pretty much just, it's only just a matter of time before we've defeated them here. Once we've taken China, then we can start sending all these units elsewhere to defend other spots in the Pacific. We could even try to help Germany by maybe taking out some of these towns from Russia, but for now it's just a slow movement across until we get to Langchao. This force here shouldn't have too much trouble just continuing that push all the way up into there, which will stop the Indian forces that are pushing over into this side here. You can kind of see they managed to move along into Cunning, and but they're basically stuck there because there's no Chinese to help them. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm up to. If it helps.